Accountability Committee examination of COVID policy decisions hearing. The White House is on the defense after the bombshell Wall Street Journal report saying COVID likely leaked from a lab.
That's right.
Yeah.
COVID has been in our
lives. We've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, we've been saying that. So have others. But of course, it has been described as a conspiracy theory and fake news.
Right. Unsubstantiated and all that. Yeah. It was just the whole wet market thing never.
Just didn't quite make sense. That's right. And joining us now to discuss, member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Texas Congressman Brian Babin. Congressman, great to have you with us. So why do you think it took so long for what many people either knew or assumed was the truth about the COVID leak from the Wuhan lab? Why did it take it so long to be viewed as factual?
Because I think there was a conspiracy to cover it up. I think that the administration, from the CDC, from the president all the way down to the CDC, the special team, they had an agenda, and that did not include that this was a lab leak. They wanted us to believe that this was a wet market, and the Department of Energy now has confirmed what most Republicans and other Americans have known for years, and that is that COVID was leaked from a lab in China. And we know that leftist companies have gone out of their way to blacklist conservative sites, including Newsmax. We also know that at least one of these companies, called the Global Disinformation Index, was being funded by the State Department of Joe Biden's administration to censor conservatives. The truth is consistently labeled a conspiracy, and I'll tell you, it's a disgrace when American people cannot get the truth out of their own government. Because they are funding an operation like the Global Disinformation Index, and that's not the only entity that has been covering this thing up.
Yeah, and by the way, the administration still isn't concrete in saying that it came out of the lab, so they're still dicey about that. Let's turn to this. Some East Palestine, Ohio residents experiencing sickness, prompting the Ohio Department of Health to open a new clinic in a local church. What are your thoughts on this, Congressman?
I think somebody needs to be taking care of business up there in this district. I know that their congressman, Bill Johnson's a great guy. He's been doing all he can. Sadly, our own Department of Transportation secretary, possibly the least knowledgeable Secretary of Transportation in the history of this country, to go along with probably the least knowledgeable president and administration in our history. But under Mr. Buttigieg's supervision, our transportation industry is in complete disarray. We've seen it for 24 plus months. We've had flight delays, cancellations, this horrible train derailment, supply chain delays, car prices rocketing, gas prices surging, wasteful spending on green projects. And it took the man nearly 3 weeks to get to that area there in East Palestine. And does it have anything to do with that these folks in that community voted 71% for Donald Trump? It's hard not to believe that when you're seeing this kind of stuff. They've already denied that FEMA will not be stepping in and helping. And there are consequences for Mr. Buttigieg's statements. When you shut down development and focus on racist highway systems instead of supporting real infrastructure and transportation needs of our country, there are consequences. And I'll tell you, he's also being audited for using FAA jets for official trips.
Yes.
And I think we'll have to see what that comes up with.
Yeah, and I'm sure we will continue to be talking about this story. But another story that we're still talking about, and we have to get your thoughts on this, Congressman. It has been over a month since Newsmax was canceled on DirectTV. And DirectTV is saying, it's just a business dispute. But after canceling OAN and now Newsmax, it seems like this is more of a cancel culture situation. So why is it that when conservative channels are deplatformed, it's only a business situation, but then at the same time, liberal channels are kept on and seem to never have these types of problems, even if they don't have good ratings?
You're exactly right, Katrina. I really think there's something to this. We saw OAN go off last year, as you said, and now Newsmax. I've actually, I'm one of those that believe that there is, and what have we been talking about this in this segment? We're talking about cancellation, censorship. This is exactly what this is. The American people deserve the truth about the news, and there's so few outlets for news that give the truth and have a non-biased, neutral position, and not being completely in the tank for the left. And they're just simply not there. So we are absolutely wanting to get to the bottom of why AT&T and DirectTV have done what they have. They keep saying this is just a business deal, that there's just an argument over the way things are supposed to be done, when it smells to high heaven. Just exactly as we talked about on the COVID leak from the lab in China. We all know there's something. This just doesn't pass the smell test. And if Americans don't stand up for a neutral, truthful news media, then we're never going to get the truth on anything from COVID lab leaks to censorship, to closing down our borders and everything else that the Americans people deserve to have the truth about.
Right.
And so Newsmax needs to get back on. That's what needs to happen on DirectTV.
All right. Well, Congressman Brian Babin, we appreciate that and your support, but also your insight. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.